Oklahoma, where the #1 team in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners, are welcoming the #7 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, in a top 10 matchup here in women's gymnastics. Since 2019, only 2 teams have won an NCAA national championships, and it's these 2 teams, the Oklahoma Sooners and the Michigan Wolverines. In 2020, obviously the season was canceled due to the pandemic, but these are 2 of the best in the country, and they are facing off today. Hello everyone, I'm John Roethlisberger, and I'm joined by 6-time Olympic medalist Allie Raisman. Allie, Oklahoma started the season #1 in the country, and it seems like they have only gotten better since then. For the Wolverines, this is going to be a tough hill to climb.
Absolutely. Oklahoma is undefeated. They are ranked #1 on 3 out of the 4 events, and the only event they're not ranked #1 on, they're ranked #2 on the floor exercise. But we cannot count Michigan out. As you mentioned, Michigan is ranked #7, but last year they did upset Oklahoma, and head coach Bev Plotky says that at the end of the day, it is gymnastics and anything can happen.
You got to play the game. Well, the subplot to this great team matchup today is the all-around competition. As you look at the top 10 in the country, 4 of those athletes are here today. 3 in the top 10 from Oklahoma, 1 from Michigan. Allie, this is going to be a great matchup underneath that big team matchup.
Yeah, to be #1 in the all-around in the NCAA is very competitive. It's really rare that we have so many of the best all-arounders in the country in this competition tonight. One of these women you're going to see compete tonight could easily win the NCAA all-around title. The meat within the meat is the race for the all-around title.
And 2 that we didn't even mention there, Audrey Davis is #11 in the country from Oklahoma. Gabby Wilson from Michigan is #13. So great all-around matchups tonight, and more on the Oklahoma all-arounders. We're going to go to the 3rd member of our team, Taylor Davis. Taylor?
Yeah, John, Oklahoma's success hasn't always been on the backs of this many all-arounders, but it certainly contributed to this year's success. Audrey Davis told me we have such intense competition in the gym just to make these lineups that by the time we get to meet day, we're primed and ready. We talk a lot about Oklahoma reloading every year, but the athletes credit the internal competition saying, my teammates elevate my gymnastics.
Iron sharpens iron, Taylor, and Oklahoma certainly an example of that. So today, the meet format, 6 gymnasts compete on each event. The top 5 scores count. And this is going to be something to watch closely because we are told Michigan might not actually put up 6 on one event. But if you have a mistake, you can drop that low score. You just need 5 good scores. The home team, they start on the vault, go Olympic order, end on floor. The visiting team starts on bars, and most notably, Allie, in my opinion, ending on balance being a tough place to be.
Absolutely. Ending on the balance beam is always so scary because at the end of the day, the balance beam is still only 4 inches wide, so there's so much room for error.
You just heard an Olympic champion say ending on beam is scary. If she says it's scary, trust me, it's a house of horrors. You want to be on top of your game on balance beam. Oklahoma, Allie, as you mentioned, #1 on 3 different events, and vault is one of them. That is where they are going to start, and just, I mean, we're going to say a lot of superlatives about the Sooners tonight, but vault certainly a place where they have some depth.
Yeah, what's really impressive about this team is most teams really struggle to have 6 vaults that start with a 10.0 start value. Oklahoma has over 10 gymnasts that can start from a 10.0 that they can choose from.
Some of the best teams in the country, Michigan's one of them, doesn't have 6.10 start value vaults. An embarrassment of riches, if you will, for the Sooners. And one of their stars, one of their leaders, she is a senior. Audrey Davis will lead things off here.
Yurchenko 1.5 twist. You know, this is probably the only place in all of Audrey's gymnastics where you can see a deduction. That's how clean she is.
There is head coach KJ Kindler in her 18th season as the Sooners head coach. Came from Iowa State, where she did a tremendous job there, and she has just gone up from that point. Working on her seventh national title, which will move her into 4th place by herself, currently tied for 4th. Sarah Patterson from Alabama. Now over to the uneven bars with Michigan. J.C. Bohr, sophomore, will lead things off here.
She's going to do a really high Dukachev. JC has worked really hard on this event. I like that she takes her time and finishes her handstands in between each skill. It's really hard to do that when you're nervous. Double layout dismount. Small, tiny hop, but the judges will take off for that. But really good start for Michigan. They're going to be happy with that.
That is actually junior JC Vore getting things going for the Michigan Wolverines.
Watch the height that she gets on this. She's got enough time to spot the bar. Double layout. Her legs are very close together, which is what the judges are looking for.
Good start for Michigan in that all-important leadoff spot. Now back over to the vault. Audrey Davis a 9.8. This is sophomore Faith Torres.
Same vault that we just saw. Wow.
A little bit better.
Really good. I don't think they're going to give her a stick. It was a slight little movement of her feet, but that was an excellent vault, and that's going to be a high score.
See that little movement of the feet, Allie.
Just slight, nice hips open before the landing, and just a small hop, but she was right in the middle of the vault, which is what the judges are looking for.
And that could be as little as a half a tenth deduction. It's up to the judges. At most, probably a 1/10 deduction. One of the leaders of this Michigan Wolverine team, senior Gabby Wilson, actually in her 5th year, graduate student at Michigan, meant so much to this team, Allie, especially with some challenges they've had this year with some injuries and things like that. She's been heavily relied on.
Absolutely. Gabby has really, as you mentioned, become such a leader. And when we spoke to Coach Bev Blocky, she said one of the most rewarding parts of her job is getting to see the transformation in these athletes. And she said it's been so incredible to watch Gabby really come into her own, and she's really found her voice.
She follows JC Vore's 9.875. Great leadoff score.
Pike Jaeger. Always a difficult skill because there's risk that you can hit your heels on the low bar, but she did such a great job with that. I like watching Gabby's dismount because she gets a lot of height on this. Beautiful double layout. Oh, she tried to stick it, small step on the landing.
A floaty double layout. Definitely wanted the stuck landing there. There is Bev Blocky in her 35th season. But don't tell her she's old. She started when she was young, only 23 years old when she started that job at Michigan. She's done a tremendous job. Obviously, that national championship in 2021 and highlight numerous Big Ten titles. Just dominated the Big Ten conference, quite honestly. Faith Torres for Oklahoma in the 2 spot, a 9.925. That is a career high score for her. Now, Kira Wells.
Another Yurchenko 1.5. That was beautiful. I could tell that she was going to have a good landing in the air because she got really good block. Her elbows and her shoulders were completely extended when she hit that vault table.
And I watched Oklahoma warm these up, and it was just very methodical.
Just one after another, they just hit. You kind of forget they're doing a Yurchenko 1.5. They make it look so easy.
It's kind of a stick contest for them. You know, we do it in warm-ups. You do your back touch stick contest. Simple skill. For them, that simple skill is a Yurchenko 1.5. It's just a matter of how clean their landing is. Now back over to bars. Halen Zombrowski in the 3rd spot. Gabby Wilson, another 9.875. 2 good scores to start.
Great handstand at the top of the bar. Jaeger release move. Similar release move we just saw from Gabby, but she straddled her legs instead of piking. Just a slight bend of legs here. Another great handstand at the top of the bar. Double layout. Just a little, we haven't seen any stuck landings so far tonight.
We're on stuck landing watch. Scott Sherman in the background there, the main bars coach for Michigan. Tremendous technician on this event.
Great first handstand, what the judges are looking for. Straddle Jaeger.
Jordan Bowers will be the next gymnast to go. She is a junior. Tremendous contributor for Oklahoma over the last 3 years. She follows Kira Wells' 9.9.
Beautiful form in the air. What I noticed about Jordan is she actually runs really slow, and I think that she does that because she has so much power, and she learns how to perfectly control it, even all the way down from running into the vault.
Controlled run, but definitely no lack of power on that vault. 110 step though. Can't see this going higher than a 9-9. Still looking for that first stuck landing. Now a couple of big bar routines coming up here for Michigan. Halen Zimbrowski, a 9.825. That's a very good score for her. In fact, matches her season high. But now Carly Bauman in the 4 spot, and Sierra Brooks after her have the chance to put up big 9-9 plus scores. They need to do it.
Straddle Jaeger, the height on that connected immediately into an overshoot. You notice she didn't actually hit her handstand, and that won't be a deduction because she connected it immediately from the Straddle Jaeger. So for that extra bonus points, she's going to do a different dismount, a double front. Wow. Really good landing. It's a hard landing to stick because you can't spot the landing.
A scoot. I call that a scoot, not a step. What do you think, Allie?
I agree. It won't be a big deduction, but a small one. Watch the height on this. Wow. She has just enough time to completely open, and she connects that immediately. Double front. She actually kept her knees together really well throughout that. A little bit of leg separation is okay.
Jordan Bowers is a 9.85. I say just a 9.85. That's a pretty low score for Oklahoma on this event. But now here's Kat Lavasser.
Watch her toes are glued to, wow. Wow. Do you think that's going to be a 10?
She's gotten a 10.
Wow.
She's gotten a 10. The question is, and here's an interesting dynamic to think about. Jordan Bowers just a 9.85. A lot of times for a judge, you think, I just put a 9.85 out there. Can I psychologically get to a 10?
I mean, her toes were glued together. I didn't see any deduction. Watch, even in slow motion, you see her feet are glued together. This was textbook. I think every coach dreams that their gymnast would do gymnastics like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen lesser vaults get a 10, and I've seen equal vaults get a 10, so we'll see what the judges do. Carly Bauman a 9.9. Here's Sierra Brooks now for Michigan.
Pike Jaeger, wow, she caught that on her fingertips. I think Michigan is doing a really good job of taking their time on this event and hitting all of their handstands. I'm really impressed. Wow. Double layout with a full twist, the most difficult dismount we've seen tonight, and just a small little scoop.
Beautiful dismount. Toughest dismount in all of women's college gymnastics, I would say. Great bar rotation for the Wolverines, and they need it with Kat Lavasser, a 9.975. One of the judges gave her a 10. One of them found a half tenth off.
I don't know where they found the half tenth off. I'm curious about that one.
So here you go. You're a freshman coming into Oklahoma on an event that they have dominated over the years. And by the way, you're going to be our anchor. This is Hannah Scheibel.
Yeah, 50% of this vault lineup is new from last year. Front pike with a half twist. That's also out of a 10.0.
A different style vault than the Yurchenko style that we saw leading up to that, where they do the round off onto the board. Handsprings onto the vault table. Another vault we've seen a lot more of, though, is handspring pike half.
Yeah, it's becoming very popular in college gymnastics, and I like it. We typically see Yurchenkos in gymnastics, but I think it's really cool that these athletes are figuring out what works for them, and I love how we're seeing more unique vaults in the sport.
So Sierra Brooks, a 9.95. That is a season high score for her. And on the Kaylee Marr, the senior, in the anchor spot, trying to get better than a 9.825. That'll be the score Michigan can drop if Marr can go higher than that.
A fun fact about her is she has to eat pancakes before every single meet, and she will pack them if she needs to. Double layout. Oh! Stuck landing. I honestly think this is probably the best bar rotation that I've seen Michigan do. I'm really impressed, and I think that they're going to be super happy with this start.
You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Welcome to those who are watching the Alabama LSU gymnastics meet. We